Welcome back, everybody. So this is my second video on the Canon R10 and the subject tracking and autofocus um, debate or questions. So my earlier video, I had asked a question and I had raised this question up in the comment section of a lot of other YouTubers who work in the photography and videography domain. The question was, does the subject tracking also take care of the autofocus? If the subject, let's say a bird or an animal is coming towards you and I am pointing at the bird or the animal, the subject tracking is tracking the subject, of course, on the screen, any part of the screen. But since the subject is coming closer to me, towards me, that means the focal plane is also changing, right? So if I do not press the servo button, the autofocus servo button, and I'm just using subject tracking and I'm not doing anything, I'm not touching it, will the subject tracking keep track of the animal even if it comes close to me? I'm not touching the autofocus button, just relying on the subject tracking. So that was the question. If you were not clear about the question, you can go back to the previous video. I've explained the whole scenario with examples, etc. So the same question I had asked to other YouTubers on their comment sections, and one of them replied, and the name of the channel was Behind the Shot. So a big shout out to him, and he explained it, and I think someone from Canon as well helped explain the scenario. The answer that I got was, and I hope what I'm about to explain is correct and I understood it correctly, that the subject tracking to some extent takes care of the autofocus. For example, let's say far away, I am completely zoomed in. This is a 18 to 150 millimeter lens. This is not at all a wildlife telephoto zoom lens. But let's say I'm completely zoomed in at 150 millimeters and there's a bird which is landing on a lake, right? It's flying and then landing on a lake. And the subject tracking is turned on, the animal tracking, and it is tracking the bird flying and landing. Now, if the focal plane does not change drastically, so the bird is not perpendicular towards me, it's rather at an angle where the focal plane is somewhat similar, subject tracking takes care of that the change in that focal plane. That is what I understood. Even without touching the autofocus button, to some extent the subject tracking takes care of the focusing of the subject. Not tracking, rather focusing. But if there are drastic changes in the focal plane, it is expected that I will keep holding on to the AF servo button, or the AF button set to servo, of course. And while I keep pressed on the AF servo, subject tracking will take care of the subject in and around the screen, right? So this is what I understood. Now I will try it out in the field. Before I got the reply to this question, I was going crazy and trying out things of my own, and I came up with one shortcut button. So this R10 has these 3-4 buttons which you can customize. So there is one customizable button which is the asterisk button or the star button. A lot of people call it the asterisk, a lot of call them the star, and the button below that. I'm not sure what it is. It has a magnifying glass and like you can zoom it maybe. So you can customize that button. So what I saw in the shortcut method is, and maybe I'll send you I'll attach a screenshot somewhere in the screen. There is an autofocus mode which says eye detection autofocus. Right? So let's say, now this is about customizing the buttons, right? I have one AF button for normal autofocusing where I am not turning on the subject tracking, right? Subject tracking is turned off. I'm going old school. Previously, the older cameras did not have subject tracking, right? You would press on the AF button, you would track the subject through the sky on your own. There was no subject tracking going on. You would point it and you would track it, and you would continuously keep shooting it, right? Here what you can do is you can customize the buttons in multiple ways. So what I have done here is, and I came across this small feature while going through all these settings, etc. So I have the AF on button, which is set to normal autofocusing, right? I click on it, I get AF servo, and I can manually track it. Subject tracking is off, eye detection is off. Now, when I come to the asterisk button, I can, if I want, customize it to eye detection AF, right? Or I can do the vice versa. I can have the eye detection AF in the AF on button in the R10, on the R10, and it is somewhere, if you see the camera here, the AF on button is right here, the asterisk button is here, and there's another one below that, right? So these three buttons are customizable for autofocus settings. I will share a screenshot or something there. So what I've done is I have set the AF on button to eye detection AF. What that does is, and as I explained earlier, as soon as I press on that button, I am triggering or turning on my servo autofocus. So it's ready to go up and down and track the subject, change focal planes. But this also at the same time is turning on the eye detection, which is a part of subject tracking, right? So essentially, as soon as I click on this, I have subject tracking and servo focus going on. But I have to keep it pressed. It is not a button that I press and leave. If I leave, it's a shortcut button, right? It's a customizable button. If I leave it, I lose that. It goes back to my base setting, which might be normal autofocus, no subject tracking. So I keep pressed on it, and I'm focusing on, or I'm looking at this bird landing on a lake, right? It's a beautiful sunset, a bird landing on the lake, and I'm tracking the bird. And the camera is tracking the bird with that small white box, and I have my, I have my finger on my autofocus on with eye detection, and I keep pressing it, and as soon as it lands, I keep taking pictures, and I've taken multiple pictures, and I've taken the landing shot as well. So what I've done here is I took the answers that I got from behind the shot, right, that channel, shout out to that channel, and I tried this out. It works. I still have a lot of experiments to do. I still want to see if I can do this automatically, if I can do this manually, right? Like the days before subject tracking was here, right? We would just focus on it. What is the difference of doing it manually or allowing the subject tracking also to help me? I am yet to come up with a situation where I could not do something manually and subject tracking really helped me. If you scroll through a lot of YouTube videos, you would find someone, and I'm unable to recall their name at the moment. He's a photographer, and I think he's using the Canon. What he said was he was just sitting at home and pointing his camera towards an aquarium, and there were fishes in that aquarium, and some species which had kind of big eyes. So the subject tracking was able to track on to one of those fishes. And fishes are extremely fast. So what happened was, as soon as he saw that the white box appeared on the eye, he clicked. And I remember him saying on the video that I would not be able to do that without the subject tracking, which might be very true, right? So for fishes, they're very fast, and there's water and change of reflections and all that. It's difficult to do it manually. So I'm yet to come across a situation where subject tracking has helped me in a way that I could not do manually. For now, I'm also getting a new 100 to 400 telephoto soon, and I am all set to do these experiments with that lens. And I will share the pictures of like whatever I was talking about, right? I'll try to share the pictures either in this video, or I will share the link of my Instagram profile where you can go and see the pictures. I will mention the picture details as well, the ISO and the focal points, everything. So yeah, the summary is there is a button in the customizable menus where just by clicking it or keeping it pressed, you can turn on the autofocus and the subject tracking on at the same time. You keep it pressed, you have both of those things working for you. If you don't want that, because subject tracking is not perfect, it is an AI based algorithm and it is not perfect. If you want full control, you can have another button or maybe the base settings set to normal autofocus, and you can choose your autofocus points, single point, multiple point, expand and all that. So yeah, thank you for watching this, and do check out my Instagram profile. I will be sharing a lot of pictures there, and what I'll do is I have a 1200D. At least in India, it's called a Canon 1200D, EOS 1200D. It's a very old camera, and that was my first camera. I will share pictures that I've taken over the last 10 years from that camera. I've never shared it anywhere else before, so I'll share it there on my Instagram profile, and then I will start sharing pictures which I take with the Canon R10. So yeah, I hope this video reaches whoever is really struggling with this new autofocus system. It's great. It can be customized and modified to do a lot of things. Yeah, but it is confusing sometimes. So yeah, I hope this video helps someone. And if you are still not sure what I'm talking about, what was the issue in the first place, please feel free to go back and check my previous video. Thank you, and see you in the next one. Bye bye.